Last night, Kamala Harris went face-to-face with Donald Trump in their first debate, where the two shared their views on critical policies, but also took sharp attacks at one another. Plus, it's been a rainy day. Will there be sunshine and comfortable temperatures on the way? We have your first forecast coming up with a check on the radar.
From the School of Communication Studio at East Carolina University, this is Pirate News Network.
Good evening, I'm Zach Stansbury. We have a lot on the news this busy Wednesday. Tuesday night was the first and potentially only head-to-head debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, giving voters the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates. And while this debate covered policy points from both candidates, their attacks on each other took center stage. Correspondent Lee Walden is in Philadelphia. Lee, what were some of the biggest takeaways from the debate, and where did the candidates go from here?
This morning, it's not clear if there's going to be a second debate before voters hit the polls come Election Day in November. Both campaign teams seem to suggest they'd be in favor of it, but can't seem to agree on much else after a fiery first meeting between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. An historic first meeting between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris may have started with a handshake.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Have fun.
Thank you.
But the gloves quickly came off.
What we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess.
She doesn't have a plan.
Harris drawing contrast with Trump by framing herself as an advocate for the middle class and framing her opponent as in it only for himself.
Donald Trump has no plan for you.
While Trump attempted to tie Harris to President Joe Biden's record,
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done.
in a wide-ranging debate, the two clashed over a number of critical issues, from reproductive rights.
We did something that everybody said couldn't be done, and now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade.
To immigration and border security.
Why hasn't she done it? They've had 3.5 years to fix the border.
What we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
To their visions of and for the country.
We all have so much more in common than what separates us, and we can chart a new way forward.
Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation, and it happened 3.5 years ago.
After the debate, Trump said it was the best of his debates he's done and the 7 that he has participated in, despite baselessly telling Fox News this morning the debate was rigged against him. Harris told her supporters that she is still the underdog in this race. Both the teams are participating in 9/11 remembrance ceremonies today. In Philadelphia, I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
In political news, North Carolina voters won't see Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name on the ballot this election. The state Supreme Court is forcing its removal with a 4-3 decision. The panel says it's more important for the ballots to be correct than for absentee ballots to go out on time. Kennedy is no longer running for president as an independent. He's trying to remove his name from ballots in various states to boost support for former President Donald Trump. Let's take a look at your first forecast now. Monday, a high of 81, mostly sunny with lows in the mid-60s. On Tuesday, we're going to increase the rain chances to about 30% with a high of 80 and lows continuing in the mid-60s. Wednesday and Thursday, shower chances remain with highs in the mid-80s and lows in the upper 60s. Bringing you your touchdown football Friday is looking dicey. Thunderstorms are likely across the viewing area with a 50% chance. Be sure to grab your rain gear if you're headed out for a game. Looking into the weekend, 84 on Saturday with a low chance of showers. Keep an eye on the radars as ECU plays the UTSA Roadrunners Sunday. And it looks to be a little less wet with temps in the low 80s. Remember to download our app to keep an eye on the radar throughout this week, and that is your first forecast. Hurricane Francine is churning towards the Gulf Coast. It's expected to make landfall as a Category 2 hurricane near Morgan City, Louisiana, later this afternoon. Ivan Rodriguez is in Morgan City with the latest.
Flooding rainfall, powerful winds, and potentially life-threatening storm surge. People along the Gulf Coast are preparing for the strength of Hurricane Francine.
I got all the vehicles gassed up. We got some extra water. We got the propane bottles filled so we get the gas grill going if we lose power.
The last time the state experienced a hurricane was in 2021. Category 4 storm Ida decimated the town of Grand Isle. Over the past week, Hurricane Francine strengthened significantly in the record warm Gulf of Mexico. Storm surge watches and warnings stretch along the coast from northeastern Texas to the Mississippi-Alabama line, with several evacuation orders across Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. People are preparing across the state for prolonged heavy rainfall.
That's going to push a number of rivers up to and even above flood stage, so that's going to be a problem.
Hurricane Francine is expected to drench parts of the lower and middle Mississippi River Valley through the rest of the week, potentially flooding roads, damaging homes, and causing widespread power outages. Some places in southeast Louisiana could see as much as a foot of rain.
It is important that people adhere to the warnings that their local officials put out.
We're ready for the storm to get here. Hopefully it'll be a minor one and everybody be safe.
Today, our nation marks the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks. Both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump paused their official campaigning to attend tributes to the thousands of victims. Our Washington correspondent Julia Ben-Brooke shows us how the presidential candidates spent the day.
Hours after meeting on the debate stage, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris meet again. This time for a somber moment, the anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks. Surrounded by other leaders, including President Joe Biden and Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, the two candidates shook hands before the ceremony at Ground Zero in New York. Putting political hostilities aside for a moment as the nation remembers the tragedy.
I know a lot of us are feeling very strong emotions, and it's a political time. This is not about politics. Thank you for having this service for our beloved family members.
Nearly 3,000 people were killed when terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airliners on September 11th, 2001. 2 planes crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan. Another plane was crashed into the Pentagon, and the 4th crashed into a field in rural Pennsylvania after passengers tried to thwart the hijacking.
Thank you to the first responders, the United States military, and those who continue to fight the war on terror every day. Please pray for those still suffering from the effects of 9/11 and the families left with the void. God bless America. United we stand.
After their rare joint appearance in the morning, Harris and Trump each made other visits to mark the 23rd anniversary of the attacks. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Ben-Brooke.
One North Dakota farmer went skyward to ask his girlfriend's hand in marriage. Justin Lehman planted soybeans in such a way that they formed the phrase, "Marry me." Lehman said he came up with the soybean message idea last May and used technology and precision planting to make sure the words came out correctly. Of course, the only way Haley Lehman's future bride could see this proposal was from above. So Lehman had a friend who is a pilot take the couple on an aerial crop tour. Haley saw the message and said yes. They plan on getting married next year in between planting and harvesting.